Hey wannabes, it's Brian the B-Man. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Chillin' with B. Again, we're going to focus on the horror-centric. Why? Because that's what I'm into. So for the most part, that's what you're going to get. I've still been playing some video games and stuff like that, and I think I'm going to do an episode talking about what I'm playing down the road. I picked up a pretty cool new game called Divinity Original Sin 2. It's not that new, but it's new on PlayStation, a couple months old. But that's not going to be the focus of this episode. We're going to talk 2018's Halloween. After multiple attempts, I finally got a chance to see it, and we'll talk about all that in a second. But also, we have a little bit of sad news. In the industry of Hollywood, we lost a legend, so I want to talk about that real quick as well, and then we'll go on with some Halloween talk. All right, so let's get started. So, time of this recording, it is November 13th, and as of yesterday, November 12th, 2018, we lost a legend in Stan Lee, who has passed away at the age of 95. So, while it is sad, the guy also had a pretty long and blessed life. We could all only hope to accomplish a quarter of what this guy's done in his life and to live a long life. But, we all know who Stan Lee is, but just in case you don't know, he helped co-create pretty much all of our favorite characters that are on the big screen at this time. Started off as comic book characters, and while I myself not much of a comic book reader, I eat this stuff up in the cinema on the big and small screen. So, a good farewell to you, Stan Lee. You will be missed. Let's just scroll down real quick. I'll show you this one paragraph they go over. Here it is. This is on the Wikipedia, and they give you a sample of all the characters he's kind of responsible for. So I'm going to just read this real quick. In collaboration with several artists, particularly Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko, he co-created fictional characters including Spider-Man, the Hulk, Doctor Strange, the Fantastic Four, Daredevil, Black Panther, the X-Men, and with his brother, co-writer Larry Lieber, the characters Ant-Man, Iron Man, and Thor. So you see, these are all pretty much the biggest characters that are on screen at this point, and all pretty much beloved characters as well. So yeah, it was also pretty cool seeing him make cameos in all these different movies. Even though quick 5-second cameo scenes, it was always a blast to see him, and look out for that. Unfortunately, we won't be getting any more of that. Alright, so with that being out of the way, let's get on with the rest of the episode. Alright, so let's get into the bulk of the episode. We're going to talk Halloween 2018. And I think to get started, to know where my perspective is, how I feel on it, let's get to where my history of the series is on a whole. Because I think depending on your history, you're either going to love this movie or you're going to be like, it's pretty good. Okay? Because after talking to somebody on my job who's very much into horror, has seen all the Halloweens, our opinions are a little different, and I think I know why. Alright, so first time I ever seen the original Halloween, which came out in 1978. So the original Halloween is as old as the B-Man himself. So pretty old. I first saw it last Halloween, 2017, around October. So I watched it for the first time. I might have caught pieces here and there as a kid, but I gotta be honest with you, as much as I love horror, the slashers are not exactly at the top of my list of my favorite horror. I like ghost stories, monsters, supernatural. Freddy Krueger I put into the supernatural, and I love the Nightmare on Elm Street movies because they are supernatural. They take place in people's dreams. They're all over the place. But when it comes to Friday the 13th for Halloween, it's usually just a guy slashing away. Not exactly my favorites, but they are growing on me, okay? Especially after watching the original Halloween last year. So, that being said, I never seen any of the sequels. I didn't see Halloween 2, Halloween 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 25, whatever they had. And you know what? It doesn't matter, really, because this new Halloween 2018 is a direct sequel to the Halloween that happened 40 years ago. All those other movies are out the window. Their histories are out the window. They don't count as far as this movie goes. Now, that's not to take away from those movies if you love them. I guess they do count in your universe, but as far as this movie goes, they don't count. And I think we can have different versions, right? I mean, why not? Of course, it kind of sucks for people who have been devoted to this series and there's this whole history. And I think that's where me and my coworkers' opinions differ. She liked this new Halloween when I spoke to her about it, but she wasn't happy with some of the changes they made. And I don't want to go too much into spoilers. Maybe we'll do that at the end of this episode. So, obviously you can tell the way I'm talking, you know what I'm going to say. I enjoyed this movie. I really, really did. Now, whereas I like the first movie, I don't think it's the greatest movie of all time, like a lot of people call it. It's a very, very slow movie. I'm talking about the original, 1978. It's a lot of him stalking, and there's no motivation for what he's doing. Not that there's much motivation in this one either, but there's just no real rhyme or reason in the first one. They don't explain anything, which is, maybe that's better that way, maybe not. This one I really like that it's a more faster paced things. It has a little bit of a slow start like most horror movies do, but it picks up much, much quicker than I think the original one does. And I think the motivations of our characters are a little bit more explained. Don't get me wrong, there's some random things like Michael Myers is just killing some people and some people he doesn't kill. And there's no real reason why he kills particular people. There's no reason how he finds particular people to kill. And I don't want to go too much into spoilers. Maybe we'll go into more at the end of the episode. But overall, I really do enjoy the pacing of the movie. If not, a few things are missing and I question, but we'll get into that again at the end. So, it took me 3 times to go see this movie. That's the funny thing about it. I was almost thinking it was like an omen. Maybe it was something I'm not meant to see. First time I went to go see it, me and my girlfriend, we went out to eat. We went to TGIF's, and we had it all planned. We're like, okay, we're going to eat real quick for an hour or so. We'll be done. We'll catch the movie. No problem. Well, it took an hour and a half, so we missed the showing, and then we had to pick up her son from work, so that was the end of that. Fast forward about 2 weeks after that, we're right before Halloween, so I was like, oh, this is great. It's like, the weekend of Halloween, this would be great. We tried again. This time we went out to eat again, but we had 2 hours to go. It's like, we can't mess this up. So we had so much time to spare. My girlfriend's like, let's go shopping real quick. So we went to the store. She spent over an hour in the store, and then when she got online, was online for over a half hour, and we just missed the showing again by 10 minutes, and I could not buy the tickets. We were beginning to see a pattern here and thought maybe it wasn't meant to be. So this past Sunday, I look at my phone for local showtimes just on the chance, and sure enough, we're in the middle of November here, and Halloween is still playing. It's still making money, so I guess it's still playing. So I asked her, so you want to try and make one last effort? And she's like, why not? And this time, I don't care how hungry we are, how much shopping you want to do, we're not doing it. We're going to this movie first, and then everything comes after that. And we did. We made it. We made it to an early showing. I think it was around 5 o'clock. We ate afterwards. That's a different story. But we got there. There was still a few people in the theater, but it wasn't overly crowded. So sometimes it's actually better to wait a few weeks. The movie's been out probably about a month at this point, and we had the theater to ourselves, maybe a couple of kids to the right and some people in back. But it was a pretty pleasant experience overall, and we enjoyed it. So, all that to say, this movie was well worth the wait. It was fun to check out. I really do enjoy it. I think it's great to go watch the first one and then watch this, or do like we did. We watched this movie. It put us in the mood to watch the original. We went back home, got home around 8 o'clock, whatever. We put on the original 1978 Halloween, and we had a good double feature, maybe in the reverse order, but enjoyed them both nonetheless. Alright, so that's the end of the B-Man's review for Halloween. Now I'm going to get into some spoilery stuff, so I'm going to just shift gear. I'm going to put the spoiler picture up on the screen. If you've enjoyed this review, leave a like on the YouTube. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you don't want to be spoiled, get out of here now, because we're going to start spoiling some stuff real quick. Thanks for joining me, guys. Peace out. Okay, we are officially in the spoiler section, so you've been warned. A couple of things. I'm not going to be long on it. I'm not going to go so deep into things, but a couple of things. For one, a thing that my coworker had a big issue with, didn't bother me so much because, like I said, I don't have a lot invested in the franchise. But in the future movies of the original series, it was found out that Laurie Strode was the sister of Michael Myers, and that's why they had this connection and why he was always after her or whatever, that kind of thing. That is completely thrown out of this window in this movie. This movie is a direct sequel to the 1978. They've had no other interactions since the original movie as far as this movie is concerned. And there is a throwaway line that's done fairly early in the movie between characters, the young kids, and one of them's like, isn't that Laurie's brother, Michael Myers? And her granddaughter's like, nah, that's just some room with some kids spread around and make her feel better or something like that. Some throwaway line like that. Basically saying that ain't in this canon. So, again, does not bother me, but there are people who are really faithful and fans of the series, and it may bother them. Like I said, not much invested with me. Another section I want to talk about, also spoilery, but there's a scene where Michael's going around town just randomly killing people. And I don't know if these people have wronged him or if he's just out of his mind and just kills random people at will. But there's a scene where he goes into a house, he bashes a woman in with a hammer, and then he turns around, there's a baby crying in the next room. He passes by, and you think he's going to kill the kid, but he just keeps on walking. And I feel like that's a missed opportunity because, not that I want to see kids get murdered, babies or anything like that get murdered, but they keep talking about how Michael Myers is the boogeyman, he's a monster from hell, and, you know, he's just like this horrible creature. Yet they show a moment of humanity in him when he doesn't kill young kids or when he doesn't kill babies. And again, not that I necessarily want to see that on screen. It didn't have to be on screen. They could have just done where the baby's crying. You see him standing over the crib, and then you hear the crying stop. Something like that. It doesn't have to be graphic in any way. And I feel like they might have just dropped the ball a little bit and gone for that. I understand why they wouldn't do it, because it probably would divide the audience. There'd probably be a lot of backlash in the community saying that this movie's, about baby killing, whatever. And obviously it's just one scene. And what makes it okay to kill other people and not babies Anyway, it's not a big deal. It's just something I noticed, throughout the movie. It also seems like there's some parts in the movie that don't make sense. Like, there's these two podcasters, whatever, interviewers, reporters, whatever you want to call them, and they're doing the story on Michael. And they're on their way out of town. They got his mask in their back of their car. They were kind of taunting him when he was in the prison or mental facility. And they're about to get out of there, and somehow he knows where they are. In broad daylight, he walks into the gas station where they're filling up, and he kills them and takes back his mask. Very, very cool scene. Lots of violence. Very, very cool, like I said. But how did he know where to find them? I feel like there's certain things. Maybe it was edited out of the movie for time. I don't know. But how did he know how to track down these people? Is Michael Myers supernatural by nature, or is it just luck? These are all questions I have. I'd like to think that he does have some supernatural abilities, considering he can be shot, stabbed, and all this other stuff, and keeps on going. It's not explained, and like I said earlier in the non-spoiler section, maybe we don't want to know. Maybe this mystery about Michael Myers is what keeps us coming back for more. Anyway, the movie ends with him burning alive at a house, and I'm sure, the movie's made $200 million worldwide at the time of this recording. I'm sure they're going to find a way for him to survive that fire. I think there was an end credits scene. I didn't stick around for it. I was hungry. I had to go to the bathroom. I flew out of there as soon as the movie was over. But I'm pretty sure I read that there was an end credits scene, and I'll have to look that up myself and see what that was about. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this recording of Halloween 2018. Again, like I said, I really did enjoy it. Go watch the 1978 version and then go watch this, because they really do tie in well together. Differently paced movies, different feels. This one's has a little more humor in it. Our characters have a little bit more direction. It might be sacrilegious to say, but I probably like this one a little bit better than the original. But, that's just my opinion. And that's it. So thanks for joining me for another episode of Chillin' with B. And until we do it again, later guys.